You don't need to go to Niagara Falls when you can eat some Brian balls.
Coming in at number 10 spot, we got Jimmie Johnson's Lowe's Red Vest Chevrolet. Now, before all the Jimmie Johnson fans go crazy in the comments of seeing this car on the list, hear me out, guys. This is just my opinion, so you guys don't really have to agree with my opinions. But yeah, I have not really been a big fan of the Lowe's Red Vest car. I mean, the one in 2016 wasn't too bad. It kind of went well, but this one, same the one in 2014, this car just doesn't look right. I wish the red was a little more brighter, and I'm not a big fan of the yellow chase marks on this car. It just doesn't match at all. So, coming in at our number 9 spot, Brad Keselowski's Blue Deuce Ford Fusion. Now, I do see a purpose of why this car was produced, and, you know, I just don't really like this car because it kind of looks like a fantasy car, but I do know why Lionel produced these cars, because they're mostly dedicated to the 164 collectors, and you guys know 164 collectors, like you guys out there, are mostly under 21, and they can't produce a Miller Lite car. However, they did produce a Miller Lite car, but for any people out there who want to get the actual Brad Keselowski car, then I would avoid this car for sure. Number 8. Jeff Gordon's Drive 10 Hunger Iron Man car. Now, of course, this Jeff Gordon car is really a great collectible to have, but if you guys are wondering why this car is on the list, is because they just did one little error that Lionel purposely put on this car. Since this was Jeff Gordon's 789th start at New Hampshire in the Loudon Chase race, they decided to put that on the top of the car instead of the number, and really just doesn't look right at all. So, yeah. Number 7, Kasey Kahne's Great Clips Chevrolet. Now, I think by now a lot of people are really tired of seeing the Great Clips car, but this was probably the worst car that we've ever got for the quality-wise. This car is mostly well-ranted thanks to my good friend Race Day 2011. If you guys have saw his review on this car, then you will see why this car is on this list. If not, I would highly recommend checking out that video because he just goes on a rampage. This car has just a ton of errors on it for the decals. Just horrible. Number 6, Jeff Gordon's Drive 10 Hunger Chevrolet. And speaking of more decal errors, guys, this is where another car falls into play. After recovering from 2014 with the WLS mold, this was the first car that was produced in 2015 for the 164 line. And wow, there was definitely a lot of errors on this car, guys. The results were not so promising. As you guys can see, this car, the decals are pretty bold and the coloring's a little off, and especially the 24, guys. The 24 is intensely bold, and also the 24 is not as bright yellow as we're used to. Coming in at a number 5 spot, Clint Bowyer's Clint Bowyer youth car. Yeah, I'm not joking, guys. Since the whole controversy with 5-hour RNG, Lionel can't unfortunately make diecast for the 5-hour RNG cars. And while I am kind of cool that they decided to put the silver rims on this car, however, it still doesn't make up that this car is just like really Lionel. They could at least just got this car canceled because you literally just have the driver's name as a sponsor, and I think that's just kind of pathetic. Coming in at number 4 spot, we got Chris Buescher's 2015 Xfinity Series Champion diecast. Now, not only this car was a race win, but it was also the first Chris Buescher car that was produced for 2015 since all of his other predecessors were canceled from Lionel Racing. However, and you can't blame Lionel from this, Roush Racing, and I quote, requested to have the championship logo on top of the car like they do with all the other championship cars, and to me that just really ruins it for me. It doesn't make an official race win car, and it looks very inaccurate. Coming in on number 3 spot, Danica Patrick's GoDaddy Chevrolet. Now, in my opinion, guys, this is probably the worst paint scheme change that we've had from 2014 to 2015. And while the diecast render does look very dull, the actual diecast itself was a lot more brighter in person, which was kind of made up for it, but it still didn't make up the fact that this paint scheme was just a mess. I don't know who was the designer of this car, but they honestly should have been shot. And of course, this was also GoDaddy's last year with Danica, so really, I didn't really like this car a lot. And the second worst diecast from 2015 is Joey Logano's PENNZOW Platinum. While this just comes to show you guys what decaling is all about, while the diecast render looks very nice, what I'm about to show you is horrific. Just look at this, guys. The Joey Logano PENNZOW Platinum car, how it came out in the 124 was cool, but in the 164, the coloring was so off, it just really ruined it for me. And you can even just see what the color was supposed to be on the top, so just really, what did Lionel do to this car? Before we get to number 1, let's look at our honorable mention. Jeff Gordon's AXALTA Final Ride car. Now, this is a great send-off that he ran at Homestead Miami, which was his final race in 2015, and I do love this car in every shape, way, or form, but however, Lionel made a far better version of this car, which came out later in the next diecast season. So I would highly recommend getting that car instead of this car because it has a customizable box and it has the correct chase marks since this car doesn't have any chase marks to it. And the worst diecast from 2015 is Danica Patrick's GoDaddy Tax Act car. Well, you guys already know my opinion about the GoDaddy car and how, just oblivious the paint scheme was. This car, however, really takes the cake. Man, what I have to say about this car, it literally looks like someone took the back end of the Tac Tac car and they photoshopped it onto a GoDaddy car. That's all it is. I think that was pure lazy from the designer, and they could have done some fitting about this car. Just what a horrible diecast. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give a good comment, like. If you guys haven't already, highly encourage you guys to subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting more top 10 videos as the year goes on. And feel free to comment below what top 10 you guys want to see next on the next NASCAR Diecast Countdown. Until then, guys, this is Richard Bryce signing off. And so long for now, everybody.